Hi, I'm Matthew McCabe. Welcome to Miracle Voices. Each episode, we will be delving into stories of forgiveness, healing, and transformation that have come about from integrating the principles of the book A Course in Miracles. If you want to learn more about A Course in Miracles, visit www.acim.org. If you'd like to visit the Miracle Voices site, please go to www.miraclevoices.org. If you feel inspired to make a love offering, please visit us at miraclevoices.org/donate. All donations go to support the work of the Foundation for Inner Peace, the publisher of A Course in Miracles. Now here's your program. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Miracle Voices. This is your co-host, Matt McCabe, here with my co-host, Tam Morgan. Tam, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. Here we are again.
Here we are again. Yes.
Here we are again. Yeah.
And we're here with our guest, Terri Wade. Terri, welcome to Miracle Voices.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. And where are you sitting in the world?
I am sitting in California, in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area.
Good. And tell us, Terri, how did A Course in Miracles come into your life?
A Course in Miracles, I was watching YouTube one day, and I don't know if you've ever been on YouTube and you get the recommended videos. You start going down a rabbit hole of information. So I was watching this video, and this one random video set popped up, and it said, "You're already dead." And I was like, well, that's interesting. So I watched this video that was saying, like, you're already dead, and, like, time is an illusion, just kind of this whole conspiracy. I was on this conspiracy, like, spiral. And so in the comments, it said, if you think this video we're watching is interesting, you should read the book, A Disappearance of the Universe. And so I read Gary's book. I just thought it was so amazing. I've read it so many times. It just opened up my mind to just a whole new world. And then, he talks about the Course in Miracles. So then I was like, I need to go check out this book he keeps talking about. And I went to watch him at before I got the book, I wanted to see him speak. And it was at a Course in Miracles conference in Boston in 2019. And so I was like, well, if I'm going to go to this whole conference around this book, I should probably start reading the book. And so that's what got me into it.
Yeah. And then you had the disappearance of the normal world, and COVID took over shortly thereafter. And you're like, wait a second, maybe this really is as effed up as this book says.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that book really just explains it really well in a linear way, and just so digestible. It's just like, for me, I think I very well would have given up on the course if it wasn't for that. So it just comes in. It's just like, just kind of just airdrops in at just the right time, just to make sense of everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was a nice stepping stone to A Course in Miracles. And then the text, it's so funny. I feel like it makes so much sense. When you first read it, it's just like the most radical text, like lesson 1. Like, nothing I see means anything. You're like trying to wrap your head around something like that. It's just so wild. But yeah, it just makes the most sense of anything I've ever studied.
What's wild to me is you read that, then you were going to a Gary workshop, and then you just whipped the course out and read that before the workshop? Like, whoa, that was fast.
Yeah, well, they have a YouTube, like, it's probably maybe your, the YouTube channel, but yeah, it's like 23 hours. Like, the whole book is there. So I listened to the book, and yeah, just in all my off time leading up to the conference, and
wow.
Yeah, and I loved it. There was this amazing speakers, and there was no judgment. I brought my partner to a Course in Miracles workshop that Gary was at, and he was like, everyone here is so happy. Because we know we're like living in a dream, right? And so, yeah, it was fun.
Did you notice your life start to change at all in any subtle or overt ways?
It didn't change a whole lot. I feel like there was, a lot more like just reflection, kind of feeling like I'm watching the movie more than I'm in the movie, like, so that was really nice. But I felt like I used to care more what people think. Like, I was definitely living in the ego before and I guess, I'm still here, but, it was just the comparison, the, the judgment, which I didn't even think I was a very judgy person, because I just do love people. But yeah, just the lightheartedness, I would say, just not taking things so seriously. Like, I need to achieve, or this needs to get done. Yeah, and really realizing like this is kind of a world of my making from, my thoughts of guilt. And so I just look at things so much differently, just forgiveness lessons that are popping up all the time, and just seeing it as that. And being grateful. I think there was a lady, Vicky Thomas, at that Course in Miracles Boston, and she said, just really welcome the forgiveness opportunity, because it's your, chance to go home. And so looking at it like that, where it's like, not, why is this happening to me? But realizing like this is a great opportunity for me to not make it real,
Yeah.
I think of this story about Ken, where he went to a conference and a woman came up. Well, it was more a talk back then, conference. And a woman came up to him and said, "Oh, I'm doing the course." And he said, "How are you doing with it?" She goes, "Oh my God, I love it. It's so much fun." He said, "Then you're not doing the course." Like, if it's all that happy, it's instilled in me is a sort of a judgment of, wait a second, and I do experience that the people who come in group are so happy to be there in community together. But you just can't get away from, or the work that has to be done to achieve that deeper happiness. And it comes, and as you say, forgiveness, welcoming the forgiveness opportunities, you can come at it with joy. You really can. I mean, that's the whole thing, is how you perceive it. So I'm not sure I agree 100% with Ken, but I think there's every way to come to it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, the forgiveness opportunities are never fun to go through, whether, so it's,
Yeah.
so that yeah, it's definitely not happy, but yeah, just changing the way you look at it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
attaching more to the happy dream than, the judgments of everything.
Well, Terri, we'd love to hear your forgiveness story.
Yeah, I'd love to share it. um, well, so I was thinking about this. So I would say, there's been so many, of course, but like every day, every second, kind of just constantly shifting, to look with love instead of fear. But one of the biggest ones, and I think this is just because I learned, it was really a forgiveness opportunity. But I had a boyfriend of 6 years, and I thought we were going to get married and do the whole thing. So yeah, and I was very attached. I would say it's very much a special relationship. Like, a lot of who I was like surrounded by this guy. So I was devastated when he left. And so that was a huge forgiveness lesson, because I had attached so much of like my life, my identity, like wanting to have a family and kids. Like, I kind of gave up the concept of self to, for this relationship. And so I was like, yeah, that was just so devastated. I remember being in bed for a couple days, like not wanting to move. And then this is when I was just starting to get like the Disappearance of the Universe book. And so I think I just started reading it. So perfect timing, like it just, yeah, the synchronicity, I don't really believe in synchronicities, but it was just the most perfect time it could have came into my life right before this, because I was just so down. But then I remembered, like, this world is not real. Like, this is just an opportunity for me to remember who I truly am. And so, but in that moment, I just felt like abandoned. And then it just reminded me of all the other times, like in my life, where I'd felt abandoned, because the way he left was just like no contact, like for 6 years. And so that was a really big forgiveness lesson. And then now, like a couple years later, I had sent like a happy birthday message, and then we, he just told me, like, he felt like I was, it wasn't right, but he didn't know how to do it, like, because he just wouldn't have never broke up with me if he had to like confront me. And so, yeah, it was a wild breakup. But that was definitely the forgiveness lesson, like just realizing, this specialness, like, and I've seen it play out so many times in my life now that I look at it. But, like feeling like abandoned, And it just reminds me of, like, just that guilt we felt when we left, seemingly, left. It felt like we left God, and it was just like that. Yeah, that moment of feeling like I am abandoned, and like I'm, unloved and lovable. I'll never find love again. So yeah, so I would say that's the biggest one I had to go through so far, and I've gone through a lot, but I feel like I've made peace with it. I lost a partner in high school who was murdered. So that was hard. My mom died in 2020, but I feel like I was deep into the course then. So I didn't, I didn't take it as, I feel like, she's in, she's in a better place. Like she's in heaven. Yeah, I don't feel so sad about that. But I think, yeah, as I was just before really getting into this work, just feeling, yeah, the abandonedness of that relationship, leaving. And yeah. I would say that was it.
And now I'm bringing what we heard offline
Mhm.
is congratulations on your engagement.
Aw,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, and I've got a wonderful partner.
Well,
And
kind
that
of
I'm
go ahead.
sorry, Matt. I
Sorry.
was just gonna ask, and how is your relationship, with all these experiences of abandonment and shifting your perception of it, how does that affect this relationship? You said the others, had been special relationships, and how would you describe this one?
Oh, that's a good question, yeah. I feel like I'm so, grounded in who I am and myself now, so I think that's, I'm not attached to, like, the relationship makes me happy, the relationship makes me whole, the relationship makes me, I don't know, something, like it's just kind of an added bonus to, living this dream life. Um, but I'm not afraid of being left. I think I'm not attached at all. And so it's so interesting because I feel like people say when you chase things and then like it'll run, and so I just don't feel like attached in any way, and I think that's kind of um been beautiful because the last relationship, I felt like it wasn't like that. Like, it was almost like I was suffocating because I wanted it to, like, last and, stay, that I suffocated the relationship maybe, and there's 2 sides, but, yeah, I was always worried. It's like whatever you fear, revere comes to pass, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's gonna leave," and I just remember thinking that, um, and then yeah, but this one I just feel like at peace and at home, and, I feel like, yeah, we're just best friends doing life together.
Mhm.
And I don't like, if he were to leave, then I'm okay with it. And so, yeah, I just, I would don't want that, of course. And I'm excited we're
Right,
engaged and gonna get married.
right.
But yeah, I just don't have any, like, like, I just don't feel attached to the world really with anything.
Mm,
Anything that were to go, I would be okay with that, because I just am not really attached to anything in the world, and so I know the special, like, relationship, I feel like that's been a big one for me, like, in my life,
mhm.
feeling love from the relationship, and now I feel the love for myself and the love of God and, really this love. I just feel a lot of love, in general.
Thank you. Do you have a favorite quote from the course? Which one speaks to you particularly?
I feel yeah, I do. Yeah, I think it was Dove Fisherman. He, was passing out these cards from the Course in Miracles conference, and, there was this card that said, "Trust would settle every problem now," and I put it on my mirror for years. I think I had it, on my mirror, and I just love it because it's like, just trust, like, whatever you're going through, it's like, well, I just trust that, like, I'm already safe in heaven with God, and so, like, that I just have that trust, um, in, in that my I am identity, as one with God and everything, so, yeah, that trust is just so huge for me, so, anytime I'm going through anything, it's like, just trusting, like, this is for me, to learn and forgive and, awaken, to the atonement. So, yeah, the trust that would settle every problem now is definitely, my favorite. And then I just like to remind myself too, like, I'm the light of the world. I'm a child of God. Joy is my function. Um, yeah, I need to do nothing. That's a fun one.
Mhm.
And I used to be like, I used to feel like kind of like I had a moment like in studying where like everything's meaningless, and then I felt like, well, why even do anything? Like let me just like. But now I really like have more of a zest for life, and the need to do nothing is like, I don't need to do anything. Like I can't really get it wrong, right? So it's like it's not like, oh, like I mean nothing or like like it's
Right.
meaningless in the sense that like my I am identity is meaningless. But I did have a moment where it was kind of like, oh, this is all meaningless anyways, and then I'm like, okay, I'm making it real. But yeah,
It is a process.
it's
It comes
definitely
in
a process.
many different levels.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, there's a little bit of a theme there in the high school relationship, and then in this forgiveness story, where both are kind of a breakup without like an open loop, where there was no closure; it just kind of happened. And do you feel like that's sometimes there's like this boomerang back around to see like, did I really forgive this idea, or and then it kind of get tested again? Do you feel like that unresolved aspect has come up again, or is it pretty much put to bed?
With
Well,
anything with that the
well,
forgiveness.
the boyfriend in high school that was murdered. I mean, it's suddenly taken away, right? And then you said your forgiveness story that you really didn't get an explanation on the breakup until later. I mean, did that cause kind of like, hey, just people leave? Just people leave, and I don't can't trust them, or I like, what is this? Like, there's just no explanation.
Yeah, it hasn't really circled around, not so much, I think with studying the course, not so much that it felt like that, um, but yeah, that I felt that would definitely, like, was a theme that I noticed, just yeah, like, when I was younger, my mom had gone to rehab, and I was living with my, like, stepmom and stepsisters. My dad was working all the time, and so, I felt kind of abandoned by my parents because I was left with this family that didn't show me a lot of love, and so, yeah, I felt like there was, like, this reoccurring theme, and I think, yeah, like, now I'm realizing, it was just because I really believe, yeah, like, there's one of us having the dream, which is so funny because it's like, "Well, I'm talking to you." But, it's just like, yeah, it was just, like, me, like, really, attaching myself so much to outside world, and now I just I mean, I notice it. I mean, it's not like, like, it doesn't happen sometimes, I guess, I'm trying to
Yeah.
think of, like, a situation, but, can't really.
Oh, that's okay. That's good. That's good if it doesn't. That's the ideal outcome. If it doesn't, who wants the boomerang hit him in the back of the neck, right?
Yeah. But I guess there's, like, moments, like, even with my mom being gone, like, some things will happen. I'm like, "Oh, like, I wish I could just hug her," or, but, I just remember the hug that we've shared in the past and kinda, like, just go back to that moment in my mind, or just think of something, like, advice she would give me on something. I'm like, "Oh my god, what should I do right now?" And then, I talk to my it's like my mom, but really Holy Spirit, Jesus, God, it's all.
Yeah, good insert here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you kind of seems like you live life a little bit more like a loose garment now, since you're practicing forgiveness. Nothing is as constricting.
Yeah, nothing that's constricting. Yeah, well, now, like, I'm a stepmom and I have my bonus kids and, going into teenage years, so then that's a lot of forgiveness there. I don't know if you guys have any teenage kids, but yeah, so that's probably like more lately, like when, I'll get tested with forgiveness lessons. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, in those moments, I guess I just kind of like, I usually catch myself, and so I'm like, "Okay, like, I'm gonna just pause." Like,
Yeah.
first. So I'm not just, just responding from, like, an ego, point and say something that I'm gonna wanna take back. But yeah, I would say I just kinda try to just look at, like, a movie where it's like, "Okay, this is happening," but, I don't have to, like, make it real, And sometimes in the moment, I'll react and then I'll just forgive myself. Yeah.
Which which leads us to our next question. When you get caught in an ego storm and it just feels like very real, like you're talking about, and it's coming up, is there anything practically you do when try to get recentered that you find helpful?
Yeah, sometimes I'll just say, this is not real. Just to tell myself like this is not real. But what I would do if I like catch myself, I'll invite like spirit and God in and just say like, help me see this differently. Like, I know that this is a shot, this is just kind of a shadow figure in my mind trying to reveal something to me that's not healed. Yeah, so I'll try to just turn back to love. I'm kind of used to like constantly shifting. But yeah, really just taking a deep breath and trying, it's harder like in the moment, but really trying to see with love, like, okay, this is a call for love, and like, I can choose to see this differently. It's really just that's one of my favorite quotes too. It's just like, I can see love instead of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that just in the world of form, before I was really a deep course student, I was a mom of one who I called triplets, my son, but he was just in one being. And my brother, who was a neuroscientist, would say, do not take anything he says seriously until he's 26 or 27 when his frontal lobe develops. Brother's hard scientist. And I kept going, no, but he's such an old soul. And he's so like, and he kept repeating, do not take it personally or seriously. He is not physically ready to understand the difference in what he's saying. And, and I was like, okay, well, that's another construct. That's another construct, another projection. And sure enough, my son turns like 26 and I was 27. Cannot believe how different it is. It's really quite extraordinary, just that physical aspect in this world of form that that story we've also created seems to prove itself true quite a lot.
Yeah, well, I got like chills when you said that for some reason, but that's great to hear.
It helped me.
Yeah, that is great to hear. Refreshing insight.
It is. I mean, it really is different in the perception of seeing things that are black and white, or what were you thinking? When you did such and such, and it's like, I wasn't.
It wasn't.
That part of the brain that you developed that allows you to think isn't developed yet, and it really is quite an extraordinary thing. Now, in our spiritual practice, we can get through it from another perspective. This isn't real, but in the world of form, there's stuff that supports letting us see it differently as well.
Yeah. So just 10 more years.
Yeah, no, let's double back, okay?
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, no, it's definitely, fun to use those kind of things. I have like my incense. I like to, have incense and, just a lot of candles. Like people give me crystals and because I know I'm spiritual, so they give me crystals, which is funny. But all that stuff's fun. Like I guess it's supposed to have some kind of healing property, in the things, and so just kind of fun, reminders to just for me, like just to turn back to love.
Yeah.
But some people really are into the crystals and this stuff, and that's fun too. If that makes them happy. And
the nice thing about crystals is they're like glasses. They allow, if you put them in front of your eyes, to see in a different way. It brings in more light. Yeah, that's how my experience of them is.
I love that. Yeah,
they collect the light and they refract it. So it's just another symbol.
Right? Yeah, definitely symbols. But
yeah. What does your fiance think of forgiveness and all this crazy stuff you brought him into?
He thinks I'm living in a fairy tale land of rainbows and butterflies.
You're here. Yes, it's called the happy dream.
Exactly. Yeah. He's like, it's not all fairies and rainbows and butterflies all the time. Yeah, he likes that I'm, pretty peaceful and happy most of the time, so that's good. But yeah, he's, I think, still very much in the world of, like he doesn't study like a course or, he believes in God, but there's not, like he kind of thinks what I'm what I'm reading is out there. But yeah,
and it is.
It is out there.
It is. Or it's in here, one or the other.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah, but that's kind of nice to, yeah, like, I could still be grounded in it. He accepts me for, my rainbows and butterflies all the time. Yeah.
Well, speaking of rainbows and butterflies, what is your favorite comfort food, Terri?
Comfort food. I would say my Aunt Tammy makes us a really good macaroni and cheese. She makes it, every Thanksgiving, and it's just full of cheese and butter. And I would say that's probably the comfort food, just some homemade mac and cheese.
Yeah.
That might win as far as if we did a whole poll.
I can't hear you, Tam. It's garbled a little bit.
I'm sorry. I said I think that mac and cheese might be if we did a poll.
Yeah, that's high up there.
Yeah,
it really is. That's been a popular one.
Yeah,
but it's never the boxed. It's always like Terri said, my aunt, or this, the little details of it, the homemadeness of it is very comforting.
I thought one person had the boxed, and I was.
Did they?
Yeah, and I was like smiling about that.
Yeah.
Went back to, I think I'd have to go back and look. It was one.
Yeah.
And if you were to pick a sweet, Terri, what sweet would it be?
Interesting. I was just gonna say, a lady at the gym just gave me some banana bread, and so I'm having that right now with for breakfast, and it's so delicious, and it's really just feels comforting. Just to eating some banana bread, not too sweet, just fluffy and moist.
I like that. People don't seem too intense at your gym. They're passing out pastries. I mean, that's the kind of
right?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's the kind of gym I would go to.
Yeah, I like that.
That's so funny. I went to the dentist last week, and they used to have a bunch of candy in the front, and now they have protein bars. And so I was just like, oh, where's the candy? Isn't that keeping you in business?
Yeah, we thought we were sending the wrong message there somehow. Right. It was a little contradictory.
Actually, my dentist said that we wouldn't believe how much people bringing candy as gifts.
Yeah.
And he always said, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Terri, is there any social media or anything you want to give out just for people that want to connect?
Yeah. I like Instagram. That's kind of where I like to hang out. And my Instagram, I have at Lady Entrepreneur Society. It's just a community of a lot of different spiritual entrepreneurs that just want to bring love and light to the world. And I wrote a book. It's called A to Z Happy. And so that's kind of a fun book I like to share. It's just a 30-day guide to making happiness a habit. So that's kind of
Tell us one thing from the book that we can have happiness be a habit for us.
What we could do, and I think that's kind of what started it, is my mom used to tell me, fake it till you make it. Once I was in that Cinderella story, the S in A to Z Happy is smile. And if you smile, there's this book, Freedom from Fear. It says, if you smile long enough, you'll find a reason. And and I don't really do that on purpose, but now it's just become a habit. I really like to, I used to smile because my mom was like, just fake it till you make it. Because people, I'd look sad and people are like, what's wrong? And I used to hate that question. So I would just kind of smile, do a fake little smile. And then I started smiling, and then other people smiled back at me. And then there's now I've studied positive psychology. And so when you smile, it releases dopamine in your brain. So you're already getting that hit of dopamine when you smile. But then when someone else smiles, it enhances the dopamine. And so, just smiling is a huge happiness trick.
That's a good idea. Yeah. And you do seem like you're walking the walk here, because you do seem like you're smiling.
Yeah.
We had the cameras on before we started, and I was like, you're smiley. And I've got a resting bitch face. My kids always say that. And I was like, oh, I'm a dude, but okay.
That's good.
Yeah, but that's a good one. You want to throw another one at us? So smile and and another one.
The first one, attitude. Having an attitude of gratitude, and just your attitude just determines like how you see things, how you see the world. And it starts off by, would you rather be right or happy? Because
There you go.
yeah, I think that's a good one. A lot of times people want to be right, and it's like, just let the other person think they're right. You can know you're right.
Yeah.
Just be happy.
Well, then there are those who feel like if they're right, they are happy.
That's right. Yeah. Right. That's not an either or, it's both.
Yeah, totally on that one. No.
Yeah.
It does bring you down an interesting path when you really ask that question.
Yeah, I know. It's good.
Okay, so Lady Entrepreneur Society and the book A to Z Happy. Terri Wade, thanks so much for coming on to Miracle Voices and sharing your miracle voice.
Thank you so much for having me, Matt and Tam. This has been so awesome. So nice to talk to you both.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening today. Please subscribe to Miracle Voices by hitting the subscribe button on your podcast app. If you are enjoying these conversations, please consider leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever podcast app you use. And lastly, please visit us at miraclevoices.org and join our newsletter so we can stay connected. Until the next podcast, I want to leave you with my favorite course quote: "When you want only love, you will see nothing else."